Yes, y'all. We back, baby. Happy New Year. Fucking jabronis out there. Welcome. Row 26, 2025 edition. Hot says Sixers, Dreamers. I got my boy Johnny with me. Shout out to PA. Reppin'. Shout out. We here. NFL season's coming to a close, but want to bring in my fucking legendary podcast host, John Hotz. Hey, talk to the fans, boy. How we doing?
Hey, Sixers, Hot Says Dreamers, welcome back. We got a fun show starting off the new year, New Year's Day. Feeling good, feeling great. Hoping to have a great show today. We're going to start with just, going over some 2025, what we see happening down the road, some future predictions, estimations, guesses, whatever you want to call them. But we're going to get right into it, have some fun with it today. Well, first and foremost, you got any resolutions?
Oh, I hate that shit, man. Oh, God. Here we go. Look, listen. I got to say this to the peeps out there. Saw some videos online of some guy in his trousers and his collared shirt on the treadmill, trying to get after it on January 1st. I respect it. Got to start somewhere. Everyone's got their own thing. Maybe January 1st hits home for some other people. But listen, you're not trying to go to the gym on December 27th. Don't make it seem like January 1st comes like, this is when I'm going to lose all that weight. One of our boys, Jermaine, was on the mic last night. He's like, yo, bro, I'm going to turn over a new leaf in January, blah, blah, blah. Just like the quintessential motherfucking bullshit. So, but in terms of resolutions, things that are not bullshit, I would just say just trying to be focused and more diligent on my work and being able to get my wedding planned with my fiance. Those are the two things that are on my mind and what I'm goaled into for this year. What about you, Johnny?
I kind of agree with your take in generality. It's like January 1st is like the Monday of like life. It's always like, like I'll start then. It's always like I'll start on Monday. And like this is like the biggest Monday of them all. Like I'll start on January 1st. So I hear what you're saying. I did work out today, but I also worked out on December 27th, so I guess I don't fit the mold.
Perfect.
Going into this year, I want to work on my sleep. Just like I talked to my therapist about it and stuff, and it's like probably my sleep is the root cause of like a lot of just irritability, anxiety, just trying to like I'm just gonna try different things. I'm at least gonna, whether it works out or not, I'm at least gonna be open to like trying different things, whether that's like
I love
using melatonin or sleeping with my phone in a different room or like shit like that. Like just try to figure out a better sleep schedule.
Melatonin is a slippery slope from what I've read,
Yeah, but then again, I'm just like, if it works for a little and stops working, like even if it works for a little, then I maybe figure something else out, you know what I mean? Just to try to get out.
Mitigation.
Because I burn so much energy too. Like I have, physically demanding work and I work out and I do that on purpose because I want to go home tired. And then a lot of times I still just can't fall asleep. I wake up in the middle, I get shitty sleep. Other than that, I want to cut back on my drinking, so.
I'll drink a coffee to that. It's a little earlier here on the West Coast. I think it's only 1:30.
I want to cut back on my drinking. So that's one. So drinking and sleep are the two that I'm thinking of. And then just, I saw that I had 13,000 steps a day on average in 2024. And that's like just my phone. I don't have a watch. It's just like when my phone is on my person, I have 13,000 steps a day plus. Okay. So if I can get that up to 15,000, I might get the watch. I feel like if I get the watch, I'll probably just hit that. Because there's a lot of time my phone's on the
iPhone, so you want the watch, but maybe get the Fitbit. Maybe just
something. It's like because I'll have my phone on the charger and walk around a bunch, and move around a bunch. Right. Or even when I'm working out, it'll be like, set down somewhere and I'll be moving around. So I feel like I
like the tracking. I don't like the text messages to my wrist. I don't like so that's why I don't like. Just want to be clear about the point here. I don't like that. I like Fitbit. I like what you're saying. Track the mile. Fine.
Or even if it's some watch where I don't really want text message and emails to my fucking watch and shit either. That sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible. Yeah.
So I guess maybe just beat my step number from this year, and then just and. I eat pretty good, but I still like could be better. So maybe just eat better too. But it's mostly like any goals that I don't hit in terms of like physique is just because I drink more than I should. Yeah, and it's like I need to like be sober. It's more like when I go out to eat for dinner, I don't need a third beer. I could have one or two and be fine. Like
Yeah.
And that's, and that leads to my last one, would be like save a little money, like, get better at saving, like not that I haven't saved at all, just like be more like mindful of not frivolous purchases, if you will, because I have a lot of frivolity in my purchasing.
I think that the eating thing is tough, man. Like in general, like when you think about trying to eat well, and especially nowadays how expensive everything is, it's fucking hard. And even the median stuff, like your mid-tier restaurants in your local communities, a lot of them are still not healthy. And like, like pizza, they say is healthier than cereal. And a lot of people are kicking cereal as their breakfast when they're on the go and trying to get quick. They get a quick cereal in the morning. I was reading some nutritionists are coming out and saying like pizza is way more nutritional and healthy than cereal. And like, what are we even talking about then? We're talking about shit versus shit. Like, it's just like, it really becomes difficult to like fill all your meals. I know some of our boys like Joey like to do the intermittent fasting and stuff like that, which is cool.
I don't eat breakfast. I don't like intentionally intermittent fast, but I'd never eat breakfast. Right. My first meal is except for the weekends.
Yeah. Right. Weekend. Bacon, egg, and cheese on the weekend. Like, you got it. Exactly. It's such a New Yorker thing. Like during the week, you're working hard. You're not eating breakfast. You're grabbing something on the go. You're a true Northeasterner, like kicking it in the cold. But in the weekends, you try to sneak that bacon, egg, and cheese before football.
No, and I'll do like, the thing is also I'll like do meal prep, and then I'll prep like 4 meals, and then I'll eat them all on fucking Monday, because I'll just fucking like they're just there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna eat this again. I'll eat this breakfast, or not like lunch, dinner, post gym. I'll eat the same thing, and then all my meal prep's gone. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I see. Tuesday rolls around, I see a frozen pizza. I fucking heat that shit up.
Frozen pizza's nice though, bro. Always for the dub. Come on.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. But let's get into our 2025
I want to start with something new also for the new year.
Oh, okay, nice. Hell yeah.
So I got this great gift from Christy. Sports facts for the year. It literally goes through a whole calendar, so you can see here every single day. There'll be some new shit that we're gonna learn about sports every fucking day. So a couple birthdays to shout out on January 1st: Derek Thomas, Hank Greenberg, Doak Walker, 3 big, huge names right there. And then in terms of some crazy shit that's happened on this day in the past, USC beat out Ohio State in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena in the past. Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and USC were the 4 teams going into the UPI poll back then. Just some crazy stuff that's happened on this day. So a lot of Rose Bowl stuff that I see here mentioned, which is obviously what we're in right now, is that college football slate, that time of year. With all the bowl games happening that don't matter anymore because of the fucking college football playoff, and it's all a sham now. But nevertheless, every single day when we do this podcast, we'll bring up whatever date it is. We'll kick to the calendar and see what we got going on that day. But just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Alabama, Michigan last year for the national championship, I think was, or not, maybe the semifinals. The semifinals.
I think that was the semis last year, right?
Because they played Washington in the championship.
Quickly, what are your thoughts on Alabama losing to Michigan this past?
I think you kind of hit the nail.
Yesterday. This is like this past week.
that was yesterday. So yeah, back-to-back years, almost a year to the day later, Michigan beats Alabama again. Obviously, not the same stakes this time, not the playoffs.
Not quite.
But all these bowl games that aren't playoff games are kind of just tainted. Like, it's not real football. It's almost like preseason for next year. If that makes sense. You got any
solutions quickly in your head of how to do this?
I mean, the only thing is to just not let players enter the transfer portal till later, but they'll probably sit out anyway if they plan on transferring. So I don't know, really. It's weird. I mean, I think we're more likely to maybe expand the playoffs and then just get rid of the whole bowl thing altogether is like the future.
Make it into like the NCAA basketball tournament in a sense.
Maybe not quite that big, but maybe like half. Maybe they go all the way to 32 or something like that, like overtime. I mean, 32 has no chance.
Games that look like fucking Rose Bowl games. It'll be like Texas versus Ohio State in a fucking second round in the round of 16. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen like the kind of earlier games being some of the powerhouses getting out early because of how they have the automatic buys set up, where like Boise State got a bye, and things like that because they won their conference. You don't get in your conference, you can't get a bye. But so we're seeing some of the heavier hitters who didn't win their conference play earlier before some people who won their conference play later. I think that's one thing I think that this isn't really what you asked, but the bowl thing, like I said, I don't really know how it's fixable because the kids kind of need to be there for spring ball. So they need to like transfer and be at the new university taking classes by the spring semester. So it's like, how far back can you push it when the spring semester starts? Probably like right after the bowl games end, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it is a weird spot.
Yeah, the transfer portal is a really big wrench. It's not like so straight and like up and down. Like you just make it teams of 32 and these programs, because then you wouldn't have never had to touch it in the first place, I guess. But you're right. Your main point about the bowl games being insignificant is the real thing here, is the problem.
Yeah, you can't even like bet on them because like everyone's got like 22 opt-outs or 15 opt-outs. So you got to figure out how impactful the opt-out is, and really to get like, I don't know how they're even like setting these lines. Basically, I mean, Marshall had so many people transfer because they wouldn't like pay the coach that he left for Southern Miss. They had so many people, the whole team basically transferred. They just opted out of their bowl game. They didn't play the bowl game against Army. They had another team had to come in and play.
Would have been embarrassing because our boy.
Yeah. Bryson Daly broke the record.
Daly would have came in there with the 253 tud game rushing as quarterback.
He had like 140 and 3 touchdowns. He broke like the quarterback rushing record in NCAA history.
Bro, his game log is a joke. It looks like Madden.
Yeah, it is crazy. I wish him the best. If you've never
seen it, Bryson Daly on Army, the quarterback. Go look at his game log, but if you're wondering where all the stats are, if you're looking under passing, you're looking under the wrong category. Go to rushing, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, no, hell of a player. Good season for Army. Winds up in an easy bowl win. Like we said, Marshall couldn't even play, so they had like a 5-7 team in a bowl. But that's what we're talking about. Is like basically that I don't really know how to fix that. But what I'm thinking they're going to do is expand the playoff, and then people aren't going to sit out of the playoff games, at least as many. Like everybody's sitting out now for these bowl games. It's just kind of sad and pathetic. Yeah. But and then in terms of the only real thing I think they could change is for the playoffs is the automatic bye being like conference. Like if you win your conference, you should get into the field of 12. Yeah, but not necessarily like the NCAA tournament you referenced earlier, but not necessarily get a bye.
The idea
it should be an automatic bid.
It
should be an automatic bid, not an automatic bye. That's
right. Yeah. And the idea that there's teams sitting, bro, that are not in the championship game, that are sitting waiting for the conference tournament, that have a bid to that, is a joke.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. And that you could lose the conference championship game, and that is a L on your record. Therefore, it like taints you. In a way.
Yeah, luckily they didn't do that this year. People thought maybe if SMU lost, they wouldn't get in, and that Alabama would get in. But it's hard to even say. People will be like, "Oh, Alabama really deserved that spot. They lost in the bowl game in Michigan." But I'm sure they had a ton of opt-outs. People backups and things.
Milrose plays though, right? Milrose.
But he's not very good.
he's not a pro. So.
Yeah, he'll be a pro, but not
yet.
Yeah.
Maybe a Jalen Hurts type of quarterback. Maybe.
Who knows? I mean, that was pretty bad. But Michigan does have a good defense. I don't know. Like I said, again, it's hard to tell with all the opt-outs, the transfers, everything. Like, what team is really out there on either side?
Shouts to Wink Martindale. How you doing?
All right. But I guess we'll get into our 2025. I got a few categories we could talk about.
Let's do it.
I guess we'll start with, the NBA MVP. I always say the NBA starts on Christmas, so I've been watching a few games here and there now, getting a feel for it. Who is your NBA MVP in 2025?
This is tough. I think Giannis is really pushing his case, coming away with the NBA Cup. It seems like the Bucks have turned a corner. So if they can continue and stay in that top 3, I think he does a lot for his team. He does a lot for his team. So he's definitely one guy I want to mention. It's weird with the Knicks. Like, you want to pick Brunson or Towns, but it's like, who do you pick? It's like both of them are doing great, but I don't feel like either one of them is an MVP as if they do the most for their team. If that makes sense. Like, I don't think that either one of them, I think both of them are great, but I don't think either one of them, it's almost like an offset, like the Tatum Brown thing.
They'd be massive long shots to win.
They'd be massive long shots. It would need to be just one of them, and one of them got hurt, and they still are winning the way they've been winning, and it's just one guy's playing. That would be the only way. And they're still like a 2 seed, and Towns is still balling 35-10. He would definitely get a nod for an MVP candidacy for sure if Brunson was hurt. But because of the both of them, it's similar to Boston. There's just like an offset that you really can't pick either of those guys. They're just a good team. So I can't really look to those types of guys. I think Jokic is, again, he's entered the category again. Like, it's just every year if you look at his stats and you look at the production, it's just too much. It's ridiculous. The guy is all time. You've gotten the soapbox 1,000 times talking about Jokic. The guy is the new Tim Duncan. That's your fucking line, and it's spot on. And I'll be surprised if he doesn't leave with those amount of championships. But
his attitude, it's like his attitude is Duncan, but his play is like something we never seen before. It's almost like he's like got more assists right like per game right now than like Nash did in his MVP season. He's like averaging more rebounds per game a year than like Shaq had in his fucking NBA season.
Had in his MVP season.
Yeah, he's averaging more points per game than like Kobe had in his MVP. It's just like ridiculous the numbers he's throwing up. And he's
efficient, John. He's efficient. It's not even like he's fucking.
He's almost like Magic Johnson with a 3-pointer. Like, it's crazy. Like, and taller, and defensively he's not great, but he's definitely gotten better. And I mean, he's the MVP, could get it every year, but I do think like there is voter fatigue. People don't want to just vote the same person over and over again. I think because of that,
Lamar's a great example. Yeah,
SGA is in a good spot right now.
What do they rank?
Okay, I think they have the best record in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to it right now, brother. Let me take a look. Wow.
Yeah,
They have the second best record in the NBA to Cleveland. They have the best record in the West by 4 games, by a substantial margin.
Yeah, they're dominating. And
7-5. Wow.
I think they have like the Clippers pick still too. They're really a very well run.
They've won their last 10 games. They're on a winning streak right now.
And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's who I mean by SGA. He's 31.3, 5.5 rebounds, 6 assists, and shooting 52.8% from the field. You don't see a lot of guys who score 31 points a game shoot over 52% from the field. That's pretty impressive, especially a guard.
Yeah, that's very impressive. That's super efficient, and he shoots jump shots. He's not taken to the rack every time. He shoots the jumper, so that's unbelievable stats. Yeah, that's a great shout, SGA. Feels like just because he plays in such a small market, really doesn't get that look. That's why it's so. You need to be like an omega superstar like Kevin Durant, I feel like, to get like that look. And I think if OKC goes to the finals, SGA will win it maybe. And like things like that, even though they say that the playoffs don't matter. I feel like if OKC puts themselves on the map and becomes like a final 2 team, goes to the finals or final 4 team even. I think even last year, I think that was the big impact.
I'm not sure when the votes are cast, because I think they're cast and then they don't reveal it till later. So I'm not certain that it might not already be decided by like the conference finals. But I know what you're saying. But even if they get the 1 seed, in the West, even though the West isn't super strong this year.
Last year, right?
What'd you say?
They had the 1 seed last year, right?
I think so. Either them or the Timberwolves.
I think they did have it. I think they did have it.
But but last year, obviously, he was in a position to win the MVP also. It was very close, and I think he's only gotten better. Also plays great defense. He's tall for a point guard. He's only 26. I do think, like you said, like Kevin Durant, like he's like putting up Kevin Durant numbers right now. Maybe not quite as many rebounds, but a couple more assists.
It was the Thunder. They tied Denver. Both same record, 57 and 25. MVP last year was
I think it was Jokic, no?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I think it was it. No, it was Embiid. It was Embiid. I said it before. Yeah, it was
Embiid won a couple years ago. It wasn't last year.
He won 23.
Embiid barely played last year. It's 23, 24.
It was Jokic. Yeah.
It was Jokic.
You got it. It was Embiid, then Jokic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jokic, Embiid, Jokic. Yeah.
Embiid missed way too much time last year.
Right.
To win it.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, but he had a crazy numbers though, Embiid. In the games that he played. But that's always going to be his thing.
I finished second for your record. I just wanted to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I know he was right up there for it. So
okay,
I think he might be due, especially if they keep winning, they hold on to the 1 seed, they get it definitively to not tied, But I think we could stick with the NBA, who's going to be hoisting that championship O'Brien trophy in 2025 in June.
I think my dark horse pick is the Bucks, and I think my chalk pick is the Celtics. I think the dark horse is the Bucks getting through the Knicks and getting through Pacers and Cleveland and really showing what they could be with Dame and Giannis, which that combination should be in my head. Those personality types seem like both great guys, down to earth guys, great superstars, great for the league type of guys. I feel like that team should go, and they didn't have it figured out the gel yet, but I think winning the NBA Cup and winning all those games recently, and I think they're starting to find it. Giannis has been playing out of his mind, so if he can stay healthy, that's a very, very tough team. So I got the Bucks as a dark horse, and I'll say the Celtics as the chalk pick. What about you?
No, I like the Celtics. Obviously, they're a powerhouse, and Joe Mazzulla's proven to be like a really good coach at this point. I really remember him being a liability when he first took over for Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
And thinking like this guy is not ready for this type of team, and he proved me wrong. And I think they still look good. I know they lost on Christmas to Philly, who's been really bad, but yeah, I mean, they have the experience, they got the continuity, they have a team that seems to play together deep. The only thing with them is, like a lot of good teams now, is they rely so heavily on the three. And if you just get cold, you have a few off shooting nights. Yeah. It's hard to overcome that. Peyton Pritchard looking like the sixth man of the year. Yeah, I really like their team. In terms of other guys who might have a shot who we didn't mention, I like the Bucks shout out. I just started rocking. I just started like watching. It's still Doc Rivers as the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just don't think
that is. You talk about what's the wrench? I guess.
Yeah. I guess you said like that's what you were asking. Like, what are they missing? I just don't think he is the guy.
Yeah.
To pull that all together there.
When's All-Star Weekend? Did that happen yet, or that already happened?
I think that's right? February.
It's February, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So a couple guys, just side noting, like here, I'm looking at stats just because I'm trying to figure out. We were talking about MVP before, but like LaMelo Ball, fourth in the league in scoring, averaging 30 a game right now.
He's a stud. He's ridiculous.
Stud, bro. He is a stud. And finally, it feels like the Ball name has finally gone to the background. It took years for it to happen, but like he has become just a player in the NBA now, which is awesome. And
I've always liked LaMelo. I mean, out of all of them, like he was the guy who was like looks special, like in terms of the player. Like Lonzo's
high school tapes are crazy.
Lonzo, like good, solid player. Sure, I'm not even trying to hate on Lonzo.
Sure,
but in terms of like who was like the special kid in that family, it always felt like LaMelo, and he's really proven it now. But just to get back to the championship real quick, I do think that the other teams in it are the Nuggets, obviously, are always a threat. And then, I think it could be the time that OKC finally fights through and gets one. Obviously, they've been at the top of the league for, a good portion of the last 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
And they just kind of haven't been able to get over that hump since they lost to the Heat in the finals, obviously, with Westbrook and Harden and Durant, Yeah, Ibaka, freaking, yeah, those had some good squads.
Nick Collison, shout out. Darren Collison, shout out UCLA.
He was probably with the Pacers then, Darren Collison.
No. Backup point guard for Russ on the championship team, throwing it out there.
All right, I'll throw a challenge flag.
All right, challenge flag. Let me look it up. Let's see it.
I'm thinking more like Thabo Cephalosha.
Darren Collison.
Enes Kanter, maybe.
Thabo Cephalosha, a.k.a. John Abbaset. Nice to see you. All right. Darren Collison. Let's see here. What year was that? 12?
That was
11,
like
12? Yeah, already on the Pacers. Damn it.
11, 12?
Successful.
Yeah, Darren, when was he even on OKC?
I thought he was a backup on that team at one point. Is that wrong?
Darren Collison never played for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow, thinking of the Hornets.
This is back-to-back episodes. Kyle Orton for the Bucks, and then Darren Collison for OKC.
John's last two episodes, 2 for 2 on challenges.
Yeah. I get to keep another one if I need it.
You get to keep another one. Your challenges are sound. That's a good challenge.
2 for 2. Yeah, that was good. Solid. Right, let's move on from the NBA. Obviously, there's been a lot of action.
Who's the backup point guard, though? I need this on OKC with Russ. Who was the backup point guard?
The backup point guard was DJ Augustine. I want to say
Blake?
DJ Augustine.
Okay.
DJ Augustine or Kirk Heinrich.
Ooh, Kirk Heinrich, good name. I don't think he was on that team, but great name.
He was on the Sonics and the Thunder. I don't know if he was on that team. I want to say Augustine. That would be my first guess.
Wow, that's a great name. Oh no, we're both idiots. Oh, here we go. It's going to be a bad one too for both of us. Reggie Jackson.
But I don't know. What year did they play?
Yeah,
the
11,
Heat in
12. That's the year I typed in.
11, 12?
That's what it says here. Lost NBA Finals 1-4 for versus Miami. Yeah, this is the season. I got it here. Scotty Brooks. I got the reference page up.
All right. Let me
Abo's
go
here though. Don't worry, your boy's here.
Yeah, Thabo Cephalosha was definitely on
D
that
Fish
team.
was on that team too. D Fish. Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher was on that team. That's true.
Wow. Damn, the ultimate leader, bro. D Fish.
Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong.
The second
Well,
head
messing
coach,
up.
Naz Muhammad.
Yeah, Nazir Muhammad, Kentucky.
Yup. K Perk also.
Daquan Cook.
Daquan Cook.
Eric Maynor. I think Eric Maynor actually might have got more minutes than Reggie Jackson that year.
Eric Maynor. I don't know about that. That's crazy talk. No.
Eric Maynor, VCU, right?
VCU. Yup. And they had Daquan on that team. Ohio State.
All right.
Daquan
Eric
Cook.
Maynor in 2010, 2011 played 14.6 minutes a game.
Yeah, that's not more than Reggie Jackson. There's no way.
It's going to be close, I think.
Not going to be close.
2011, 2012, Reggie Jackson played 11.1 minutes per game. It was his rookie season. So he played less minutes. Eric Maynor played more. He was more the backup. I remember that team well. Eric Maynor got minutes.
Eric Maynor, bro. I don't even remember his face. I gotta click his name.
Eric Maynor, VCU, bro. You remember VCU? Fucking teams
Kind of
making
like
deep runs?
vaguely.
You're not a college head like me.
I'm not like that in college basketball. Like I know guys. I can name some stuff. Like
I like college basketball more than NBA.
yeah, like I can tell you Cole Aldrich and fucking Nick Collison both went to Kansas. Like I can say things like that, like obvious shit. It's low hanging fruit shit because they were
Like
both
8
big
years
players.
apart, probably.
But they were like both like big players in college is what I mean on big Kansas teams. Like,
Well, I also used to know. I like made it a point to memorize where everyone went to college in the NBA from like
Yeah,
2009
that's like
to
your-
2000.
that's
When
your-
when I was in college, like I could tell you every single player in the NBA where they went to college.
that was your playground. Yeah.
I still feel like I could probably hit 90% right now. You know.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna go to the Miami Heat team of this in this series. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to that side. That'll be how we can do this.
All right.
Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, there's some cool names here too for you. All right, let's try this one first. This is a easy one, I think, but you should know it. Shane Battier.
Duke. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's crazy. Some of these are so obvious though. Mike Miller. What you got there?
Memphis.
No, college. That's where he got drafted.
Mike Miller.
No, he got drafted to Orlando, but yeah, he didn't go to Memphis. No.
Mike Miller. I don't know them. I thought he went to Memphis. Or Arizona? No.
Florida.
Oh, Florida. All right. All right. 1 for 2 so far. Like, give me the whole roster. I'll do the whole roster.
All right. Well, Braun, no college. Okay. Dwayne
Yeah,
Wade.
yeah. Marquette.
That's easy. Bosch.
Georgia Tech.
Nice. You already did Battier. This is an easy one. Mario Chalmers.
Kansas.
Shouts to Chalmers in the game winner. Legend. Mike Miller, we just did. Florida. Norris Cole. That's
Norris
very
Cole. All right. Norris Cole.
Okay, here's the deal. If you pull this one, I got you for lunch because I won my league against Casey in Dynasty.
All right.
So I got you for lunch if you can pull Norris Cole. No looking.
I'm not looking. I wouldn't look. I'd rather get it wrong than look. Norris Cole. All I have in my head is something in Florida, which might not even be right. Norris Cole.
There's just no way. by the
Yeah.
way. There's no way you're getting this.
This is hard. And it's a college. It's not like a high school or some shit like
It's
that.
college for sure, and it's so obscure.
Oh
I
man!
don't think
All
I
right.
could think of a more random, obscure college in sports.
Norfolk State. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't have
That's not it. But
Yeah.
Cleveland State is the answer. So good
Cleveland
job.
State. Yeah, I didn't have that in my
Yeah,
bag.
you got 50% of the answer.
Yeah, I got a state. Yeah, there
You
you,
got
go.
a state.
That's
All right.
funny.
UD. That's an easy one too.
Udonis Haslam.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Why am I blanking on this right now? Oh my god, this is pathetic. Udonis Haslem went to... Maya, shut up. I gotta think. Udonis Haslem. He's like a Florida guy. It's in Florida. No? Arkansas. I don't know. I don't have it.
No college.
Oh, no college?
He went to the University of Florida and... Oh, no, was he on Florida? Yeah, he went to University of Florida. You said Florida, right?
That's what I started saying, and then you were shaking your head.
Oh,
so
yeah. Sorry. I'm just like looking up. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake my head at you. I was looking up on. I was like, something just popped up like on my screen, and I was just shaking my head like, what the fuck just popped up on my screen? Like a pop up.
All right,
I was trying to type it in.
Okay.
It's
All right,
Florida.
I was saying Florida, but then you shook your head. So
Yes, he's Florida. Yes, I heard you. Sorry. Because I'm looking off screen too to confirm. So
no, you're good. All right, keep it going. Let's finish the roster out.
James Jones.
James Jones. Oh, I have this one. Hang on. James Jones, ACC. At least it used to be the ACC. ACC.
Oh, yeah, I think that's right.
Oh, God. North Carolina State? That's wrong. I don't know.
No, the U he went to.
Miami. I was going to say Miami. Fuck, dude. Fuck. I fucked that one.
Random player. Terrell Harris.
I don't know who that is. Keep it going.
Yeah, I don't know who this is either. Wow, he got a ring. What a guy. Joel Anthony.
Joel Anthony? Is that... I have UNLV in my head. I'm just going to go with it.
College? That's UNLV is correct.
Let's go. That's a big boy one.
Whoa, that was wild. And he's... Because it didn't even show it originally. It said Montreal, Quebec in Basketball Reference, and then you had to like click the arrow down to even find it because he has so much extra shit next to his name and whatever. And then it said college UNLV. What a pull!
That was a good one. I'm proud of that.
Here's some low hanging fruit for you to settle back in. Juwan Howard,
Michigan.
Yeah. And then your last one here, Ronnie Turioff.
Oh fuck, Ronnie Turioff. Oh my god, I think I have this in my bag.
I think you could get this too.
I think I have this. I have two schools in my head. I'm gonna go with the one I'm leaning towards. West Virginia.
No. What's the
other one? The other one was Georgia Tech.
Nah, it's Gonzaga.
No, I didn't. I wasn't even close.
That's pretty good though.
Joel Anthony was the highlight.
Joel Anthony is the highlight.
Missing Mike Miller was bad.
Yeah, missing Mike Miller. Yeah, that because he was on big teams. I think he was on good teams.
Yeah, I don't know why I have him as Memphis. I must have somebody else. Like I have him mixed with another white NBA player in my head who went to Memphis. Pretty. I got to do more of like just the first thing that comes to my head, like UNLV, Joel Anthony. Like I didn't even think about it. It just was already there, you know.
Yeah. All right, I want to go to the. I want to slide to the NFL. You ready? You want to go through some of the matchups this week and just see like, what implications and shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to happen and whatever.
Yeah. One second.
Yeah.
Talk for a second.
No, you're good. So I already have it up. So obviously we have Kansas City that clinched the number 1 seed, 15-1, great season. Shouts to the Chiefs. I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point. And then so you'll probably see Carson Wentz next week, starting against Denver.
I just kicked the fuck out of the table.
You're all right.
Yeah, my bad.
So yeah, I was just saying that talking about Kansas City, just going through the leaders right now in the standings. So I was just talking about the Chiefs and like Carson Wentz going to start next week against Denver.
I have all the meaningful stuff right here. If you want me to go over,
we can start there. So since I started with the Chiefs, I'm just going down the slate, and then as we read teams, we'll read matchups. So Kansas City's going to play their backups against Denver. Denver's
hold off 1 second though, real quick. I'll give a good like breakdown. I have it pulled up of like what matters this weekend.
Hold up, let's go.
So the NFC North is up for grabs. Detroit plays Minnesota.
Yep.
Winner of that wins the division, wins the 1 seed, and obviously that means the loser of that game will have, will obviously be in the wild card game. And a road wild card game at that. Crazy. A 14-3 team will end up playing on the road in the playoffs.
Quickly, who is this game more important for, Detroit or Minnesota?
Oh man, that's tough. I think Minnesota, it's a little more important for. I think Detroit's won on the road at a better rate this year.
I agree.
I think that they could travel a little better.
They run the ball better too. and running travels.
Yeah, they run the ball better, but then again, they've lost Monty, so we'll see what happens when Jahmyr Gibbs has to go multiple weeks getting 25
He might come back.
touches, Oh, I didn't even know he was eligible to come back, to be honest. So if he comes back, that could make a huge difference. And if he's coming back, this bye means all the more to them now. Maybe I'm flipping over. If there's a chance that Monty can come back after the bye, then it's massive. But, I mean, it's massive for both teams.
Surgery. Yeah, that's what I read.
It's massive for both teams, obviously. It's crazy that, like, the Eagles have no chance of getting the 1 seed, with however the tiebreakers shake out. I guess it's conference record if you're not in the same division. So it's very interesting there. But the Vikings look fucking good, though, man. They handled the Packers last week. They are, like, the quietest 14-2 team ever. Yeah, exactly. But they're just good. I think Sam Darnold has turned the corner of just like a guy, like, even when he threw the bad interception last week, comes down the next drive and slings it, gets the fucking touchdown the following drive. He's looking like that guy. And obviously he has great weapons.
That's the coach of the year over there.
Oh, yeah. O'Connell, and now look at even, like, with what happened to Kirk Cousins when he left there. Like, obviously this guy's got the juice, O'Connell. And, I mean, we could talk a lot about Minnesota in the coming years with how they're set up coach. What do they do at quarterback? Is O'Connell such a good coach that they don't need to pay Sam Darnold when they have the benefit of a young, talented kid on a rookie contract?
Playing with fire there, though. Playing with fire.
Yeah, obviously. When you have a quarterback who shows who's 14-2, how do you not pay him? But we'll see what happens. Who do you like in the game and why?
The game's in Minnesota, I believe. And, their home field has been up and down for them over the course of the last few years in regards to just home playoff games. Even the Giants, Daniel Jones went in there and won a playoff game.
The Lions are home.
The Lions are home this week.
Yeah.
Oh, huge. Okay. So I think that Minnesota has a great chance to win on Sunday because I think that they need to become a little bit of road warriors. I'm interested to know, just off the rip right now, I'm going to go look quickly, what their home and away record is. Home, they're 8-1 this year. Wow. And on away, they're 6-1. So it's hard to tell which one they like better. But in my opinion, for a quarterback like Sam Darnold, who is going to have a lot of pressure on him to perform in this first playoff game, and people want to see if this is just a regular season thing or if he's going to come out. Because, again, Kirk Cousins did the same thing. He had a nice regular season, and then he comes out in the playoff game against Daniel Jones and throws up a stinker. And, so I think that part of me thinks that it would be better. It would behoove Minnesota to be on the road. But obviously the bye is the difference here that obviously we're talking about, not more or less where the next game is. But so being able to get a week off for Detroit is imperative for like guys like Monty and how banged up Detroit is. So I feel like Detroit is playing for more. I feel like if I was betting and if I was like a betting head, I would lean definitely Detroit because they're playing for more. By definition, they're playing for more. They're playing for injury, help, time, all that shit. They're playing for their home field advantage and having it at Ford Field, and just mainly the bye. That has so much weight for them and those injuries that I really feel like they're playing for more here and that urgency. And Minnesota, actually, this will help Minnesota a little bit because they get to keep playing football and they get to play on the road, where there's some kind of like galvanization about that when you play on the road in the playoffs that I think Minnesota can lock into and then maybe come back to Ford Field in like the next round and maybe fuck them up. And that's what I'm brewing. What do you think?
I think you make a lot of good points. I think there's some stuff I'd push back against. I think the comparison to the Kirk Cousins Vikings team that lost to the Giants, I think is a
Not
stretch fair. Only because that team had like a negative point differential despite winning like a crazy amount of games. They won every game by like 2 points.
Yeah.
They didn't beat anyone down. That defense team was
horrendous.
The fraud light was fucking bursting and neon letters above that team. Fraud. And just like above just like the Kirk Cousins aspect of it and the close game aspect of it, this Vikings defense is on another level with Brian Flores coaching them up, and also the addition, like the losing Hunter to get Greenard, I think was like a super savvy Minnesota Vikings front office play.
I mean, the money is Greenard and Van Ginkel, John.
Yeah.
The money for Hunter.
Well, I mean, I know Greener got paid. I don't know if it was enough to get Van Ginkel. I don't even know, but I know that
I'm just saying, like,
even if
probably a little bit more, but like you're letting go one guy who's elite and getting paid top dollar for like two guys that are like performing at that top dollar spot, but maybe they're getting paid a little bit less.
I'll take it a step further. Even if Greener and Hunter made the same amount of money,
it's crazy.
The Vikings got a steal there. He's a really special player. He's one of the most underrated players in the NFL.
He's amazing.
And you know, the fact that the Texans got Hunter and the Vikings got Greener, and like the Vikings defense looks significantly better, and the Texans defense or team, everything looks worse. And I'm not saying it's just those two guys flip-flopping, but I do think that's a big part of it. And, you know, like you said, getting Van Ginkel, also a huge addition. Vikings front office kind of, you know, flexing a little bit this year, even the signing of Sam Darnold, even when they drafted a rookie quarterback and Sam Darnold coming in and playing well, like the
is
GM
Gilmore on that defense? Is that right?
Yeah, adding Stephon Gilmore, adding, you know, Aaron Jones, like, because obviously
in the middle of the season last year and the trade.
That was last year or the year before. Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, he was hurt, but like they got him and they now.
But even like realizing running back, like going into last season, okay, Dalvin Cook is toast. Like there's no reason to even keep him on the roster. Let's get rid of him. Let's see what we have with Madison and Ty Chandler. They worked okay, but we need to actually have a good running back. Let's get Aaron Jones. And even though Aaron Jones is older, he's been able to have some good games and probably be a good old head in the locker room.
Cam Akers even just caught that big pass on third down. Like he's not an incredible player, but he's an experienced player.
He had a touchdown last week too. You know, like that. Yeah, another just good. I think Minnesota's in a good spot. The other point I'll push back a little bit on is like, you know, yes, I do agree that Detroit probably has more to play, and they're the home team. The crowd is going to be fucking electric. So I do think that they have an edge. That being said, I think the Vikings are not going into this not thinking like, oh, this is massive getting this by. Like, oh, it'd be better to, you know, get some road time and win on the road in the playoffs, because I don't think it's a question that whoever loses this game, we think is going to win in the first round of the playoffs anyway, whether they're on the road against the Rams or
they're subject to lose is the problem.
Yeah, but they're probably going to end up playing the Rams or the Bucks or Falcons, like, and not that it's going to be a walk, but you know, like, there's going to be the favorite for sure.
Rams, they can lose for sure. Either one of those teams can lose to the Rams.
Yeah, or the Bucks, or the Falcons.
Bucks, I think I'm scared.
I guess we'll
to the Bucks. Yeah,
this is where we transition into it now. I guess is it. You know, the next games with things up for grabs are the Falcons have the tiebreaker if they win and the Bucks lose. So looking at the Falcons game against the Panthers, I've been on my anti-Falcon shit all year long. I fucking feel pretty good about calling.
John. Crush him, bro. This fucking shit this past week. Go, John.
I don't need to crush Raheem. I'll just take my victory lap. They were minus 250 favorites to win this division, and the only reason it's even close is because the Bucks got decimated with injuries, and they lost on some crazy fuck shit to the Falcons in that one game on Thursday Night Football.
Oh my
or
God.
Else this is like the Falcons are out of it before the season is even over. Now the Falcons are still in it. Granted, if they win and the Bucks lose, I have to kind of eat my words a tiny bit.
And I hit a
but
future.
The only, Andrew hit a future, so that'll be good.
Night Football to win their division,
but I could see the Falcons
win their division.
But I could see the Falcons falconing this and losing to the Panthers. You know, Bryce Young has a lot to play for, to kind of finish the season strong, where he got benched, came back in, played pretty well, had a terrible game against the Cowboys, and then played pretty well again last week. He's starting to show some things. Yeah, I mean, and obviously the Bucks murdered them, but still, he was playing well. He looked good with no Hubbard, everything. We'll see how they play this weekend. I could see the Falcons falconing that up. I mean, Penix had some really good moments, had a couple bad ones. I do think he's got a bright future, but I do think that, they're not a lock this week, even though they're playing the Panthers.
I got a defensive touchdown for the Panthers this week. I'm calling it right now, all right? He was literally like less than 40% on passes to his right. He was missing to his right, over his right shoulder, John, across his body.
Yeah, lefty quarterback across his body. I get what you're saying.
They're going to sit on him. The tape's going to say it all over the place. It was so apparent. If I'm seeing it, there's no way. So it was so apparent. I see it it. I see like something bad happening this week for Bennett. Something.
Or maybe he'll make his adjustments. He watches the film too. Who knows?
He'll have
But
to rush
really,
the ball,
it's kind of a moot point because there is no way in hell the Bucks are losing at home to the Saints.
I mean, after the travesty, dude, this whole thing is fucked up now. Like, this whole thing that just happened, obviously, rest in peace to all the people that happened with this fucking horrible attack that happened before the Sugar Bowl. We don't really talk about shit like that in this pod, but we'll just say that quickly. And that's
yeah, of course. Terrible thing.
Sad, terrible. Yeah. But be clear, though, like, New Orleans and Rizzy came out in a press conference I saw earlier today and was, like, talking, playing for the city in New Orleans. They've done this before. I've seen this movie. It would not shock me that New Orleans comes out and upsets the Bucks. I'm serious. That is a smelly one now because of the attack, and I hate to do that with the emotional. You know what I'm doing there, but
yeah. But I mean,
is what I'm saying. The game, at least a cover. I don't know if they win, but it's going to be closer than it appears. You think it'll just be like what Baker did last week, and he's just going to shit all over them? Like, I don't know.
I mean, the Saints just lost 34-0 to the Packers on Monday Night Football. I mean, they are a wasteland of a team.
Matchup, though. That's like the worst matchup in Lambeau. That was like a decimated. That was
and they're going to be in Tampa, this week. Like, it's not like they're in New Orleans playing that game at home. I just don't see it. I mean, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a defense. They don't have, like
Lattimore to go against Evans.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mike Evans, like you talked about this coming week, he's going for, his incentives along with his record of 1,000-yard seasons. They're playing, and obviously the division's on the line for the fucking Bucks. They're not going to come out asleep. If they lose and the Falcons win.
I think Evans already got 1,000 yards.
I want to say he's like 83 yards away.
He was eating so much in that game last week. I don't know. Is that real?
But he also missed a bunch of games.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, good call. 85 yards away.
Yeah, so.
All right.
He's playing. But I'm just saying the Bucks have every reason to not have a letdown game. They have the division is on the line.
That's a good point.
Like, I get it that there's obviously an emotional charge there, and I do want to reiterate it is an absolute tragedy what happened in New Orleans, pushing back the Sugar Bowl, because of the terrorist attack. I mean,
a lot of us have been down there, bro. That's literally that was on what's it called street in New Orleans. That's like that's where the Jazz Street. What do they call that place?
Market Street?
No. Like the famous in New Orleans, like the famous.
I've been to New Orleans multiple times. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about like the area where all the jazz clubs are. It's like blocked off, similar to 6th Street in Austin. It's like the same thing. It's what do they call it?
I'm just looking up famous streets in New Orleans. I thought Market Street was it's like Magazine Street, Royal Street, Esplanade Avenue, Congo Square, Decatur Street, Bourbon Street. That's what you're thinking.
Bourbon, like Bourbon Ave. Yeah, Bourbon.
Yeah, like Bourbon Street. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Bourbon Street is like, that's what I mean. Like it's like a known place. Like this is where people go to drink. Like this is where people.
Yeah, and there was hosting the Sugar Bowl too. You think like the police would be out there?
They were out there. I saw surveillance. It was scary.
I said that to say that like it was obviously like planned. It wasn't just like one lunatic. Like it's obviously like a planned thing that was like predicated and for the lack of a better word, like strategically thought out, not well thought out, because in terms like well intentioned, but like strategically thought out and crazy, just a crazy thing that it's still scary. I mean, I'm still like. They need to catch the people who helped that guy. Like that guy did not act alone, and they need to catch him. So, God bless all the people. The FBI I know are looking for him. Hopefully they can track him down because that's scary stuff. But
crazy. And back to the media is barely even talking about it. By the way, just a side note, like it feels like you can't find the story.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
It's crazy. Like some things, like you feel like you can find it at the fingertips. Diddy stuff, you can find all at your fingertips, right?
Yeah, fucking a CEO gets murdered and you can't fucking avoid it.
Luigi Mangione is at my fingertips.
There's already a fucking documentary about it on like fucking shit, and like when it's like a fucking terrorist killing regular people in the street, and you can't fucking hear nothing about it. It is crazy.
It's crazy.
But It's sad to say. Prayers to all the families who
Prayers to the
lost
families and
people.
all that shit, yeah.
Prayers to all the people who are injured and recovering. But let's get back to football.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both going to win, but I think obviously with both of them winning, the Bucs take the division, and
Embarrassing.
I think the team that's more likely to lose is the Falcons.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with your sentiments all around. I also think that it's embarrassing at this point for Raheem Morris to have done what he did this past week. I just have to say it out loud on the pod on Wax that not using that timeout and literally fucking his own team and fucking a rookie quarterback who made an incredible throw on third down to get them that first down at the 48-yard line on their side of the field. And you think he's going to be able to jog up within 20 seconds to get that play off. So the play gets off at 17. The play stops at 12 with no timeout. You have 2 timeouts there. Crazy person. So, shouts to Raheem Morris going to get fired after this week. I'm sure. Especially
it's especially bad because we saw it with Chicago, Detroit on Thanksgiving. Like a rookie quarterback, you have the timeout, you don't call it. It's like we have an example of that this season already to draw from.
And he went into the first half. And this is something that's minor, but he went into the first half with all 3 timeouts, Raheem Morris. I know that there's people that would say that's not really that big of a deal. But to be clear, you should at one point or another give your team, let's say your defense is on a third down and you have the extra timeouts. If your plan is to not ever use them, you can probably still apply them and help your team, is my point. Even if
I get what you're saying. At the same time, it's like
it's horrible. It's like
if you call one to give your defense a rest and then end up in a 2-minute drill or a minute drill and you need them later, then you're going to be like, why'd you take that one earlier just to give your defense rest?
Right time. I just hard to
the
imagine
only thing,
no time that he could have used it.
I mean, if there was a delay a game that happened, in the first half. I don't know if there was or wasn't, but I'm just saying if there was one, and then you end up with all 3 timeouts, you obviously should.
You're also starting Penix. You have a third down on offense. You want to get your best play in. You have timeouts. There's just anyway. All right.
But like I said, if you call one on a random third down in the first quarter with 2 minutes left, and then don't have one when you need one with the final 2, you know what I mean?
Apparently,
so it's hard.
He's always gonna have one when he needs one because he doesn't fucking call him, John.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, we'll keep it moving. We'll get into the kind of messy.
I'm here for the Raheem Morris slander. You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess we'll get into the messy kind of situation now. I mean, we can real quick go over the Ravens win the AFC North with a win. They're 1 game up on everyone. But then the final wild card spot in the AFC is the real one that gets a little tricky. Is obviously the Bengals beating the Broncos. It comes down to the Bengals, the Broncos, and the Dolphins. So if the Broncos win, and like you mentioned earlier, Carson Wentz is playing, Andy Reid's resting his starters, but I don't think that's a gimme for the Broncos. I randomly think Wentz could go out there and have a decent little game.
Yep.
So Broncos win and they're in. Next situation is Broncos lose. Broncos lose, Miami wins, they're in.
Right.
Broncos lose, Miami loses.
Bengals win,
and they're in. Bengals are playing the Steelers. They're not playing a walkover kind of team, but they are super hot right now.
Steelers are gonna rest, maybe.
Yeah, Steelers could. You definitely win that game.
Steelers are gonna rest. I see Justin Fields playing that game a lot more. I see Russell Wilson not playing as much in that game because they're already clinched. I don't think there's any changes that could happen for them. So I guess.
Can the Steelers catch the Ravens? Because I think the Ravens have one more win than the Steelers.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. So, what's the record between Baltimore and Pittsburgh? Let's see.
Yeah, if the Steelers win and Baltimore loses, then the Steelers win the division.
Is that true?
Pittsburgh has the tiebreaker, yeah.
Yeah, they split this season. So why does Pittsburgh have the tiebreaker? I guess strength of schedule.
Probably divisional record, because I know the Ravens lost to the Browns.
Divisional record. Oh wow, they did lose to the Browns. Fucking idiots.
Yeah,
they're both 3-2. They're both 3-2 in the division. So if Pittsburgh were to win this week and Baltimore were to lose, yeah,
exactly. Then they'd have a worse divisional record if Baltimore loses. Because they're playing the Browns again.
Baltimore's going to destroy the Cleveland Browns, and that will be the end of the division.
Yeah. I mean, if Baltimore loses to the Browns, then they don't deserve any fucking sort of. To lose to the Browns.
Lamar Jackson, no MVP. Fuck you.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson is not an NFL quarterback.
Good for him to get the start.
Yeah, he's been starting, and they look terrible. I don't know if they're trying to lose, throwing him out there.
You think Snoop's going to win on Miami, and they're sneaking in this shit? Tua's coming back. Scary team.
He looked okay. I mean, I think obviously the scariest of these teams are the Bengals. Of these three final
Denver.
AFC wildcard
Denver.
teams,
Denver's scarier.
no,
I don't like the Bengals defense, man. That defense is fucking terrible.
I don't know. They still have beaten, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, have beaten Josh Allen in the playoffs as recently as last year or the year before.
Can I read some stuff to you? I got some stats. You ready?
Yeah.
Points for Cincinnati's at 453. The next closest in the AFC on the wild card side is Denver at 387. All right, so points against.
Yeah.
Bengals are 417, so it's 453 to 417 there. The next closest on points against is the Colts. Oh, no, not part of the wild card. Let's just do the wild card teams. Closest is Miami with 332. 417 for Cincy. It's a lot of points. It's 80 something.
Yeah, they give up a lot of points, but you're going to have to beat good offenses in the playoffs anyway. Like, outscoring them might be a better path to victory than stopping them.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Especially with these teams.
And then
Miami's a team also that tries to score more than you. They're that type of team too.
And defense is a thing where you could just get a sack, strip sack. You can make big plays on defense to make up for having a bad, leaky defense in terms of allowing yards and points. Like you're more likely to have big break plays on defense because on offense, you could have a long touchdown, but a long touchdown is no different than a long drive in terms of impact. Like when you make a big play on defense, strip sack, fumble, recovery, pick six, these things, blocked punt, there's ways to cover up a bad defense, a bad offense. Not that the Broncos necessarily have a bad offense, but I'm just saying a more limited offense. Bengals.
That's kind of the point too, is that Denver's defense is very good, but their offense is kind of good. Like their offense has more points for than Pittsburgh and LA, the Chargers, the two other wild card teams. So they score way better than them, it would seem here, in terms of just points.
The Bengals might have the best quarterback in the NFL. You know what I mean?
They probably
you can make an argument they could have their offense might be I don't know, I don't have the stats in front of me, but they might be the highest scoring offense in the NFL.
And they're fucking painful. They win despite Zach Taylor sometimes and shit, with the fucking decisions.
I mean, I think you're a little harsh on Zach Taylor. I think Zach Taylor's a very good coach. He took a franchise that was bottom of the barrel to the Super Bowl. He's been
I like him. I like him. I'm not a hater.
I think he's a good coach. I think some of your
blunders.
I don't the one blunder you called out. We argued about it in the group chat. I don't think was a blunder at all. You can't be don't take 7 points when you can get it, because you might get it the next play and make them burn their timeout. But then what if you don't get it next play? What if you have a false start?
That's fine. 27 seconds and a field goal. That's okay. No timeout.
Yeah.
Go do it, Bo Nix. A rookie quarterback. It's not screaming off the page to me that it's, you know what I mean? I feel like if you're a good defense and you're a legit team and you're a good enough team to actually be a playoff contender, you get that stop against Bo Nix. That's easy money. 27 seconds, no timeouts.
Or 120 something and one timeout, and you have to go all the way and score a touchdown.
But they did it.
Yeah, and who knows? They might have scored a field goal in 27 seconds, or they might have taken the top off the defense and gone for a long touchdown, and then you lose the game.
You know as well as I do that it's hard to get an operation of a field goal onto the field with no timeout.
I mean, not if you get
the way it has to happen. It has to get out of bounds. There has to be something that just bolts. There has to be a clock stoppage for an incomplete pass or spike.
It's very hard to go the length of the field, score a touchdown. It literally came down to a fourth down play where a guy went up in double coverage and made an amazing catch.
How long is each play to you? If it was just, if we were going into a dream world and it was the 27 second, if that's what ended up happening, let's say, okay?
If you get the ball at the 30, they kick it out of the end zone, it's 27 seconds. You could theoretically go 35 yards over the middle, get into a long field goal range in one play and spike the ball.
Field goal range, that's are we talking
50 something yards?
Okay. 57 yards, you said?
I said 50 something. So you're at the 30, you go 35 yards. That puts you at the 35-yard line of the other team. You run up, you spike the ball. That's
a long
20
pass
to 25
30
seconds.
yards. Yeah, you're right. If the Bengals were to have given up a 30-yard passing play on first down and on the 27,
is it more likely than a 4th and 1 jump up in double coverage and make a ridiculous catch to tie the game with a touchdown? Like, they made a ridiculous drive. That drive is not like super emulate. Like, you can't just emulate that whenever you want. Like, that was a really difficult drive. They did everything perfect. They didn't have any sacks. One sack, the game is over pretty much in either scenario. Whether it's 27 seconds or the one timeout, I have to go the whole field.
Sacks also speaks to the point, like 27 seconds.
My point, the main crux of my point, is being like, don't score on purpose. If you have a chance to score,
I don't like the Bradshaw, the trying to sit down. I don't like that. I agree. If you can score,
go up 7. Like, I get that the game, like, you can technically milk the clock, and then you could also milk the clock and have your kick blocked, and they go the other way.
I'm sneaking it, and my play is to score. I would hand it off. If he scores, wonderful. If he doesn't score, wonderful. Like, that's kind of my thought more, I guess, is versus like calling a sneak and being like, we're scoring. Like,
but if you're calling a running play, you're calling it to score anyway. You're not like you have to be decisive. You can't be like, oh, I want to score, but if I don't score, so this play, I'm slightly less likely to score than this play, so let me call the play where I'm less likely to score. Like, if you're saying calling the QB sneak as a play to score, call the play to score. Get the touchdown lead. You know, you can't be like, take away a play to burn the timeout.
Also, the sneak is the safest route, generally speaking, because you don't have to hand it off to somebody. There's no, like, Bijan Robinson
And that's what I was going to say, too. We go to third down, then third down. There could be anything can happen. A fumbled snap, anything.
All
like,
of it.
You know, like a penalty.
Denver's defense, a good defense. Patino lives around the ball. There's guys there.
You get a holding penalty. You're back 10 yards. Now, all of a sudden, you got to call a timeout.
McPherson's starting to sweat it a little bit. He hasn't been all the way money this year.
Well, Cade York is in. It's not even McPherson. It's the guy you signed off the street a couple weeks ago.
What happened?
He missed the kick in overtime. That's like kind of like that's what, you know, kind of like my
justifying.
point. Yeah. Obviously, that definitely vindicated my point to an extent, but at the same time, it's like I believed that before he missed that kick. I'm just saying, like, even I'll take it a step further. Even if you have fucking Adam Vinatieri, like, things could go wrong. It could be a bad snap, bad hold. Like, if you have a guaranteed touchdown to take a 7-point lead with less than a minute and a half left, the other team has one timeout. Right. Like, yes, the defense isn't good, but at the same time, how calculated are you trying to be? You know what I mean? Like, how, like,
it's a little too calculated.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, all right, when you're telling yourself not to score in a tie game, a touchdown, that's where I'm like, it gets a little bit convoluted.
Yeah, but I can hear that.
But that's fair. As a football,
so let's just just to wrap this, and then we can get into a mitigated hot corner here since we're running a little bit on time. But I'm chilling. I don't know what your plans are, but I'm hanging here.
Good.
Let's see here. So in terms of the AFC, we'll start there first. In regards to Denver, Miami, and Cincinnati, in general, in your consensus, Denver versus Carson Wentz, the backups in Kansas City. Is that game in Kansas City? That game is at home for Denver, so that's huge. Miami is playing at the New York Jets, probably be cold. Snoop Huntley in MetLife, maybe Aaron Rodgers' last game as a pro, some people say. Whatever. And then Cincinnati is playing against Pittsburgh. Is that game in Pittsburgh or in Cincinnati? The game's at Pittsburgh, very tough. Joe Burrow, MVP candidate. How do you think this plays out? And if you're a betting man?
So I'll just break it down in two things. What I think is going to happen, I think Denver takes care of business. You know, Sean Payton's still a good coach. You know, Kansas City's going to rest their guys. Not that the guys who are in aren't going to play hard. I mean, a textbook definition of this is when the Chiefs rested Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes played his first ever game, his rookie season, you know, the last week and showed out and they won.
A little different guy than Carson Wentz.
No, different guy, but I'm just saying, like, the Kansas City backups aren't going to come in and roll over for the Broncos, especially division rival. You know, they probably want to knock them out of the playoffs if they can. But that being said, Denver at home, Occam's razor, like the simplest explanation is usually the best one. You know, just win against the backups at home, you're in the playoffs. So being said, next most likely to scenario, I don't see the Jets beating the Dolphins. The Jets seem like a fucking dumpster fire right now. Last week was pathetic. They just are in shambles.
Start Aaron Rodgers this week?
Who cares? You know what I mean? At this point, it's like who fucking cares? It doesn't really matter.
How does this roster with all this talent win 4 games? This is one more game than the Giants.
I think especially in football, everybody's fucking talented. Everybody's good. I mean, so much comes down to how players gel together. You got Garrett Wilson.
Valid Hall of Famers on the team.
Garrett Wilson is talking about, like, I'm not coming back to the Jets if Aaron Rodgers stay. We got
I didn't see that.
We got Ahmad Gardner telling T. Higgins not to come to the Jets. We got all this shit going on around the team.
Sucks, by the way. He's fucking overrated.
That's why I called him Ahmad. He's not even sauce anymore.
He's not sauce. He's Ahmad.
Yeah.
I like that. We're off the sauce now. There's no sauce, bro. You get lit up every week. I feel like I watch people burn him weekly.
Yeah.
And
he's the microcosm of this Jets season is Aaron Rodgers missed a wide open guy, and then he complained about the route he was running, it wasn't perfectly run, and it's just a microcosm season of Aaron Rodgers basically blaming everyone else and it's everyone else's fault, and never holding himself accountable and always holding everyone else accountable. That play was, like I said, just a microcosm of the Jets season in a whole, and I stand by that take. But my point being, the Dolphins should win that. So the least likely scenario is the Bengals winning the division. But as a fan, winning the wild card spot. But as a fan, that's what I'm hoping for, to be honest.
That's what we're all rooting for. Yep.
Because we want to see the Bengals and Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, that offense in the playoffs.
Jace Brown. Yeah. Fuck yeah. They're mad good. And then the NFC side, who do you have winning the game on Sunday Night Football? What do you think?
I'm gonna rock with the Vikings, man. I like the Vikings. I think they have a really good team. Their offensive line is underrated. Obviously have great weapons in the passing game with the 2 receivers and Hawkinson and Sam Darnold. I gotta give him his fucking credit, man. He's been really, really, really fucking good this year. Not just holding it down. He's been really fucking good, making big throws, big moments, using his legs when he has to. He's only 27. He still has a good chance to resurrect his career, like we're seeing with Baker Mayfield. Like we're seeing.
Who do you like more, Darnold or Baker?
I like Baker more, but I also like Baker more as a personality, so that probably just plays into bias of it. And I've also seen Baker do it for 2 seasons now, where Darnold's only really done it for 1.
The Browns to a playoff win at Pittsburgh.
That's true too. Yeah, that's true. He did do good for the Browns, but then also got ran out of town there, and then got ran out of town in Carolina.
It's Cleveland is the town where if you get run out of there, it's almost like congratulations, you graduated high school or something.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll say is that about the Minnesota Detroit game that I was just thinking about is just Sam Darnold is going against this defense. Aaron Glenn's going to have them prepared, and Joseph,
this defense isn't that defense that it was.
I know, but Kirby Joseph leads the league in picks. He had 2 again this past week. He seems like he's really in the film room. He really knows what's going on. He was all over, it seemed like last week, and against the Niners, and he was just sitting on Purdy a couple times. And maybe Purdy's obviously as good as Darnold, or maybe playing worse football right now, I'd say probably than Darnold for sure. But in general, I still think that between Joseph and Branch, and then they have still, Za'Darius, and they still have some guys on the line of scrimmage that can get to the passer. And then they run the ball. The offense is a juggernaut. Laporte is starting to take shape. He seems like he's in form. He had a great game this past week. Gibbs is the man, and they're home. Like you said, the place is going to be juiced. So,
and I'm reading right now,
Anzalone would not shock me. Would not shock me if Minnesota won this game, but I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, Anzalone looks like he's limited practice now. Jack Campbell back to limited practice. Meek Robertson back to limited practice. So they're getting some pieces back on defense potentially.
Yep. Damn, Anzalone in a limited capacity on Wednesday, bro. That's a play.
Yeah, that's a big. Yeah, that could be huge. So, like I said, I like the way the Vikings are playing though, and we'll see how it goes. Even with you're saying all this stuff about the Lions defense and the picks by Kirby Joseph, they still gave up 34 points to struggling 49ers team, you know.
Ricky Pearsall looking like Randy Moss out there.
34 points is 34 points. And then, especially when you get 2 picks, so their defense, we'll see how it goes, even with guys coming back. They're
kind of sloppy as a team and I don't know what it is. It's like something
they're a little bit Bengalese, not to go just like Tiger for Tiger.
Great way to put it. Yeah, there's something about the Lions that, like, if you watch football for more than 20 years, you can watch a team like that, and it's like there's a fun team that scores a ton of points. They're always entertaining. It's always going to be fun football, but it's like something's going to go wrong with this team because it's just there's fundamental stuff that's just kind of missing. They're a little sloppy.
It'd be different if they had Hutchinson still. That ace anchor,
anchor.
But they don't have him. He's not coming back.
It loosens them up back to the old lines of scoring and like the Lucy defense.
And I'm not saying that obviously they've been a better team this year than the Bengals. They've been a better defensive unit than the Bengals, but there is like similarities to draw. From these two teams.
Even within the offense, John, they'll get to third downs, fourth downs a lot, and they know that they have the fourth down because they go for fourth down all the time.
Yeah.
They're like loose with third down calls, like Ben Johnson's a little too cheeky, like shit like that. Like I feel like sometimes they don't just fucking line up Gibbs behind Sewell and fucking run it down your throat like they do other times. Like there's a lot of times they do that, and it's like you can't stop them.
But they're not going to be able to do that against the Vikings anyway. But my point being is that they're in a situation like the Bengals where. Would you rather be in a position to be like, oh, we can stop these great offenses, or would you rather be in a position to be we can outscore these great offenses? And at the end of the day, of course, you want to be able to do both. Like the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs haven't scored 31 points in a game this year, like I still think the Chiefs can go in the playoffs and score 45 points if they. They're going to
score over 30 the first game of the playoffs. You watch.
Yeah. Like I could still see them doing that, and I could see them holding down good offense. Obviously, that's the team you want to be. But that being said, if you have to pick either or, and again, I'm not saying the Lions are the Bengals, I'm just saying there's similarities where their offense can outscore you, but their defense is also giving up a lot of points, yards, has weaknesses. Like, it's weird because you go through the position groups and you'll be like you said, the secondary might seem like the weakest, but they have Branch and they have Kirby Joseph and they have, Terrion Arnold and Carlton Davis. And they have been a good unit this year, but for some reason, and I like Aaron Glenn, but I do think he's getting a little bit overgassed, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like he's getting grouped in with Ben Johnson. It's almost like Ben Johnson's great. So they're like,
and Antoine Randall is their receivers coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Their coaching staff better than their head coach. Have been touched by God. Yeah. They're getting a little bit. Dan Campbell. Yeah, it all trickles down. All the former players, besides Ben Johnson, I guess. I honestly don't know what his background, but
scrawny white boy.
But if you give me Aaron
Daniel.
Yeah, probably something similar. Aaron Glenn versus Brian Flores. Give me the Brian Floreses of the world,
It's a good comp. I like that comp. And
they're playing each other this weekend. That's why I said
it. Yeah. But also, you watched Brian Flores on that sideline last week, bro. Just on those stops, the way he's just jonesing on that energy, bro. He's fucking the man.
Yeah, he's a good coach. But then I guess we should keep it moving. We'll close it out there. I guess the predictions for me are going to be Vikings win that meaningful game, the Bucks win and win that division, and the Broncos, win and hold on. And if they lose, I do think that the Miami wins. I think the Bengals are screwed. As tough as they played, they shouldn't have lost to the Patriots. They've lost bad. They have bad losses that are going to haunt them.
That's right. And last thing is the Eagles are playing the Giants, and it's funny, if the Eagles beat the Giants, then that helps the Giants because it gets them closer to a better pick. So if they let the Giants win, they fuck us inadvertently because they make us more irrelevant and put us into the 8th to the 10th pick. So maybe Tanner McKee will figure out a way to throw 3 interceptions against the Giants, and the Giants will fuck themselves once again and get themselves into the 8th to 10th pick when they had the first overall pick 2 weeks prior to that, and it'll be a wonderful day. Okay.
Well, the real discussion about that game, we'll keep it brief.
Saquon. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be stupid to go for the record. Personally, I think because it's not even just you keep Saquon. Are you going to keep the whole starting offensive line and risk them getting banged up? Lane Johnson, Mailata, Becton, Dickerson, Juergens. You're going to play everybody. The only way I could see I mean, I'd bet money that we don't see them play their starters.
There's no way, in my opinion, that he should play. There's
no
way.
There's absolutely no way he should. That's a fact.
It's a 17th game, John. It's a sham.
I mean, all that stuff is crazy too. A lot of people. The craziest take I've heard from Philly fans is, "Oh, well, he can do it in less carries, even though he's playing one more game." And it's like, well, carries per game speaks to like durability, workload. Like that doesn't mean anything. It's not the record for yards per carry. It's the record for yards gained in a season.
Argument. What the fuck?
The carries are irrelevant.
That math is not mathing. I don't know who the fuck thinks they're mathing that up. That does
they're
not
like,
math.
well, he does it in less like they're like saying, oh, well, he had an extra game, but
in the third quarter of a game in the week 16 versus like spreading it thin, like what you're talking about in the carries.
Either way.
Thinner.
Yeah, either way, I'm saying like
the person that it's thinner for. It's easier to run when you get to get rejuvenated with your offensive line every fucking game, and like you're only
yeah, exactly. Like you said, you have the extra game to get the more carries. Like even if you have less carries and more games, it's still like it's not like I said, it's not the carries, it's not the yards per carry record, it's the yards record. And if Eric Dickerson had a 17th game and had more carries than Saquon did and had more yards in 17 games, like we've never been like, oh, both of these players ran for 2,000 yards. This guy had 70 more yards, but he had less carries. Like if they play the same amount of games, the carries don't matter. But if they play a different amount of games, the carries matter. It's like carries don't matter. Like that doesn't change the fact that Saquon had one more game because he can do it in less carries. That's just dumb. Like,
and also, the more carries, the more chance of injury. So the fact that if you can stay healthy and get to the yards,
that's what I said. Durability.
Yeah, like there's no fucking way. You get your credit where your credit is due. Yeah. I don't care if you're 3 yards a carry. If you got the ball 600 times and it got you to 3,000 yards, if that's what you were able to tolerate and handle, congratulations, you won the rushing title all time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this all comes down to like, but then, people say like, well, then Dickerson really beat OJ's record because OJ did in 14 games, had 2,000 yards, So it all that stuff aside, like if Saquon plays and breaks the record, that record's his. 17 games, 16 games, whatever. It's his record. Like fucking, that's how it goes. Fucking Barry Bonds played more games than Babe Ruth did. We don't be like, home runs. Like that's just the break. Sorry, Eric Dickerson. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, going for it, I do think is stupid. There are people who are like, why can't we have both the record and go win the Super Bowl? But it's like, even if it improves your chances by 2% by not risking anyone getting hurt, like it's still worth it to me. Like
people want to hear some stuff about records. The year that Tom Brady broke the passing records with Randy Moss, they lost the Super Bowl. The year that Peyton Manning broke the records with Denver, they lost the Super Bowl. So you want to keep talking about records and things that are important in life, figure it out. If you want records and you want your players to go out there in week 17 and go for records, congratulations. Go ahead. We haven't seen that pan out to Super Bowls.
I mean, and it's not even like Brady played the last week to get the record. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't like.
No, he did. He played the Giants, I think, that year, week 17, didn't he?
I know they played the Giants week 17, but I don't think he played the whole game. I think the record was already well in hand.
No, I think he played the whole game. I remember he threw a touchdown pass to Randy Moss. He ran the same play twice in a row. So he at least played the first half. At least, I mean, for sure. For sure.
But I feel like that record was, even if he did, he wasn't playing for the record, I don't think, because that record, I feel like, was in hand well before that last game.
The touchdown passing record, he had 55 that year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Manning passed it, but either way, I'm trying to hang on.
Manning passed it with 55. Brady had what that year? I don't know.
Let me see real quick. I think it was 50. He had the 50 touchdowns in 07.
Yeah, 07, 08. No. It was the 11th season, I think it was.
Oh, no.
07, 08. Yeah. That was the Miracle Team. That's right. Tyree is the Miracle Team, yeah.
But either way, it just doesn't make sense. And like you said, I don't know if it'll necessarily cost them the Super Bowl if they go for it, but it's just it's not worth it.
That's a big part of this thing. Like Jalen Hurts is not playing. Like Tanner McKee is in there. That could get Saquon hurt. Like that's the reason you don't play Saquon is because the main quarterback who hands you the ball and anything is liable to happen.
If Jalen Hurts was playing, I would say don't play Saquon. I'd say don't play Jalen Hurts.
Like adding to uncomfort about doing it.
Yeah, no, there's just no reason. And he already has 2,000 also, which is still an amazing accomplishment. Just an amazing year. The offensive line is good.
The two best rushers actually this year are on different teams from their year before. It's crazy.
And then I don't know exactly who's third, but I think Josh Jacobs has to be up there too.
Oh, yeah, that's another name. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. And Mixon was up there for a while if he stayed healthy.
Yeah. So there's all these guys on new teams kind of being the workhorses. We talked about that before on the
Derrick Henry,
podcast.
Kyron, Bijan, and then Jacobs. Jacobs in the top 5. Yep. Chuba, number 8. Go fuck yourself, Johnny. Hate you. You were supposed to flame out. John Brooks. What happened there?
I don't know. It's karma. All right, let's do a quick hot scorner and get out of here.
Let's do it.
We're already at 120.
Let's go. Quick. I got my coffee cup. Anna's favorite.
There you go.
All right, I got a couple questions here. Here we go. What's the best holiday food? Any holiday food?
Thanksgiving.
No, food. Specific food. Holiday food.
Mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving.
Top 4 corners who are not Hall of Fame worthy.
Al Harris. Fred Smoot. I'm trying to be definite, not Hall of Famer, so give me a second.
Yeah, do they?
Al Harris, Fred Smoot. Give me Terrence Newman. And
Number 23.
Al Harris, Fred Smoot, Terrence Newman was number 41 actually. But
Number 23.
And then I have Tampa in my brain for some reason, but I can't figure out the player that I'm looking for, so I'm going to move on from that.
Who, Dexter?
No, he's a safety.
Rondé's Hall of Famer. I don't know who else.
And then, Rondé's definitely Hall of Famer. And then give me your boy, Jason Sehorn.
Yeah, I like that name. All right. Who is the best basketball player no one has ever heard of, but you're aware of?
The best basketball player, I think Elvin Hayes doesn't get enough shine.
Good name. All right. Who is the worst person in your family to tell a secret to?
In my family, Skip.
All right.
I give it like personal questions.
Change it to friend. Who's the worst friend to tell a secret to?
Jeremy Leibowitz, because he literally just told a secret. It wasn't. I didn't say don't tell anyone, to be fair, but we were just like confiding and stuff to each other, and then he just told like my brother-in-law and my sister. This just happened.
Casalivo family. What's something your dog has made you better at?
I guess like having a disciplined routine.
Okay. Mark Sanchez, Eli Manning, Vinny Testaverde, Daniel Jones. Rank them.
Eli Manning for sure, and then probably Testaverde and Mark Sanchez are tied, and then Daniel Jones last.
Who's the laziest player in the NBA?
I feel bad because there's probably people I'm missing, but off the top of my head, I gotta say Julius Randle.
Woo! All right, let's get into it. That's the questions. That was the last one.
You didn't set up any trivia for me. I was ready.
Oh no, the trivia! I forgot about the trivia. You could have reminded me. All right.
It's all good.
we did some trivia though because we did the college.
That's true. We did the NBA. Yeah.
So
fair
a little
enough,
mitigation there. I will be well prepared next time with your actual trivia. Gotcha.
All right.
No problem.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be all sports
what
either.
Was the trivia that you asked me last time? Do you remember?
Yeah, I did the capital of Vermont, Montpelier.
Oh yeah.
I did the only president to serve 2 terms, but not consecutively. It was Grover Cleveland. Now Donald Trump soon enough.
Yeah.
And then I did blocks leaders for the Knicks, which you countered with me. Blocks leaders with the Warriors.
Right.
And I did better. And then I did. What was it? Did I do for the Yankees? I did stolen base leaders for the Yankees.
I got a couple of
and
those.
You countered with the Reds, but I still did better.
You still did better on the Reds.
And then you did for what's the other sport? Baseball, basketball, and football. I did Giants receiving leaders, and you did Texans, and I did better.
Yeah, Texans was probably looking.
The Owen Daniels was the fucking pull that separated it.
That was nuts. That tight end. Yeah, that was a fucking pull and a half. Yeah.
All right, but let's go over these bad boys. I like the trivia. Maybe we could separate it from like the Hots Corner. Just have a little trivia.
I'll get the specific music for the trivia.
We'll brainstorm it.
I got you.
What is
the holiday food? You said mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, mashed potatoes and gravy, turkey, all like on a plate, just all mixed together, stuffing.
Perfect. Top 4 corners who are not Hall of Fame worthy. You said Fred Smoot.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to look this up real quick because I want to see.
Some cool names. So Fred Smoot, great. I'll get soapbox a little bit. That's some guys you mentioned. Great corner for the Redskins. Great player. Always gave problems to the Giants for sure. So.
Yeah, I mean, Fred Smoot, 21 career interceptions, but started his career off hot, like 5 picks, 4 picks, 4 picks, 3 picks.
Yeah, he was a nice player.
He was small, so I don't think he had a long career. He only did one.
Sean Taylor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he played with Sean. He played with Champ. You know, like he was picked on a lot because of the players he was surrounded by, and he held his own.
Yeah.
He did one bench press rep of 225 at the combine. Which is funny, just like the least reps ever in the history of the combine, which is very funny.
That's awesome.
I mean, you can't do lower than 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I wonder if he was on the Mark Brunell playoff team for the Redskins. That was his.
Yeah, it's a couple decent years in Minnesota too. Then went back to Washington, but 21 interceptions. Never made a Pro Bowl, so there's probably better ones than him out here. But I think it was a good shout.
Good shout.
Then I went Al Harris, who played opposite of Charles Woodson for the Packers for a long time.
Super Bowl champion, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so with the Packers. If he was still there, he might have been gone. Actually, I'm not certain.
I don't know.
It was close. I'm gonna pull up the page now.
Maybe he wasn't, and he lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think he was on that. He was definitely on that team. I think he might have. I think he was gone by the time the Packers won. But just real quick, his moment in the playoffs was when it was overtime against the Seahawks, and Matt Hasselbeck was like, "We're going to get the ball, we're going to score," and then Al Harris got the pick 6.
Yeah.
He also randomly had 21 interceptions in his NFL career, the same as Fred Smoot, exactly.
It's crazy how that is, but in your head, Al Harris is way higher than Fred Smoot. How is that?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at it now. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, so for Smoot never made the Pro Bowl, so obviously a little bit of a better answer there. Al Harris obviously had some great years. Another guy who got picked on a lot because he was opposite Charles Woodson.
Number 31, big dreads.
And then I said Terrence Newman for the Cowboys. High draft pick, Kansas State. Just just real good player. He also made 2 Pro Bowls.
I wasn't crazy. He was number 23. It just wasn't on the Cowboys. It was on the Vikings. Wasn't a crazy
okay, person. Fair enough. Yeah, he was 41 for the Cowboys for most of his career. Then on the Vikings, finished off his career pretty strong with the Vikings and Cincinnati, had some good years. Had 42 interceptions in his career. So that's really good. That's a lot of picks.
That's a really good name then.
And then 2 Pro Bowls, so that's a good name. And then
he was a kick returner also, right?
Maybe a little bit, not a big time one, but maybe had some good returns. And then Jason Sehorn.
He was actually 23 more than he was 41. 2 teams he was 23. How about it?
Yeah, but how many years? Because he played for Dallas more years than both of those teams combined.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Just a couple more. Yeah. So 2003 to 2011.
He played like 9 seasons in Dallas.
Yeah, and he played 8 seasons in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. 6 seasons in the two others. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And the best seasons he was on Dallas. But either way, and then Jason Seymour was my last one.
Yeah.
Looks like Jason Seymour never made a Pro Bowl, so that's not good for my argument.
Sehorn?
But, yeah.
Not Seymour, Sehorn.
Sehorn, yeah, Jason Sehorn. Never made a Pro Bowl.
Number 31, white boy, nasty.
But 19 interceptions, a year with 5 interceptions, a year with 6 interceptions. So
huge pick 6 against the Vikings in the playoffs on the way to get trounced by Baltimore.
4 pick 6s in his career, which is very good. That's a lot of pick 6s. To have 19 touchdowns and 4 picks, 19 interceptions and 4 pick 6s, that's more than 1 in 5 is pick 6.
So if he's catching it, there's a possibility it's a house call.
For example, Terrence Newman had 42 picks. He had 3 pick 6s in his career,
Wow.
So the
He's
guy
fast,
who was
too.
dangerous with the ball in his hand. Al Harris also 3 pick sixes, not including that playoff one. I'm not including playoffs here. Fred Smoot only
Well, that's
1
what I'm
pick
saying. Seaborn
six.
has a couple in the playoffs. I know that.
Yeah, and Fred Smoot only has 1 pick six. So Jason Seaborn 4 pick sixes, the most out of any of those guys. So I mean, none of those guys are. The main thing I didn't want to do is name someone who might be in the Hall of Fame one day. So I
like
feel
the list.
confident.
The list is
Yeah.
outstanding, and it's a lot of guys that are from our childhood too. Like in a way, like sick
Really
list.
good pro cornerbacks, you know.
Awesome. It's a great list. There was like other guys that I was kind of thinking about, like Aqib Talib maybe is like a name, like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he might get up there for Hall of Fame, but yeah, no, that's a
Maybe.
good one.
Yeah, like I was trying to figure out those guys are like right on the line. Like
Then I thought of a lot of guys who didn't play a long time, like Brandon Browner. In his peak on the Seahawks was a monster, you know, opposite
good.
Sherman.
Oh, good. Yeah, and then the Patriots signed him to that stupid contract, and he flamed out. It was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep it moving here. That was a good list, bro. Who is the best basketball player no one has ever heard of that you're aware of?
Yeah, I like Elvin Hayes. I remember one time I was talking about with our friend Eddie, like where Charles Barkley is all time. And, I think he brought him up, and he's like, yo, like, there's guys like Elvin Hayes. Elvin Hayes is a 12-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, 68, 69 scoring champ, 6-time All-NBA, 2-time All-Defensive, won an NBA championship in 78. You know, kind of just did a little bit of everything.
He's a beast.
And was a monster.
Sounds like a fucking like a Dirk before Dirk almost, like with the one championship and the accolades and just getting it done every night type of guy.
In the late 60s, he was dropping like 28 and 17, 27 and 17, 28 and 16.
This is like a fucking beast. This is like these rebound totals.
Yeah, he averaged for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of his career. He went 17.1, 16.9, 16.6, 14.6, 14.5. Yeah, 18.1 rebounds.
Oh, this guy's cleaning glass.
And was over 25 points a game for 4 of those years and 21 points a game for the other 2. Just an absolute beast. You know, career 21 and 12 guy, but in his peak was like 28 and 17 guy.
Jeez.
So, Elvin Hayes, shout out.
Shout out. Beast. Hall of Famer. Did we do this one? I think this is the only one we didn't do. I forgot one, bro. Sorry. Let's do it right now.
Shoot.
Rank these players: Miguel Tejada, Nomar, Jeter, A-Rod.
Wow, I mean, A-Rod.
It was written there for anyone that wants to know. It's right in the center there.
Yeah, you're good. A-Rod was number 1. I guess Jeter you gotta go to just for the longevity and clutch. And then, man, Nomar and Tejada were close. Tejada has the MVP season, but Nomar has like the 350 batting season. Nomar, I think, is a career 300 hitter too. I think I'd go Nomar slightly, but those guys were the shit back then. Nomar Garcia-Parra, and Jeter and A-Rod at one point were like, those 3 guys were like on every fucking Sports Illustrated, ESPN, the magazine had a feature.
Shortstop dominated baseball for a little bit.
They would call about how like each of them did. Yeah, I mean, Nomar being 313, career hitter, 229 homers is pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, and he won the first championship with Boston, right? He was on that team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was, what was like 04?
Yeah.
Or maybe he got traded in the middle of that season, now that I'm looking at it.
Did he not win with the team? Oh, did he not win the first
Yeah, he got traded to Chicago in the middle of that season. Wow, that is crazy stuff.
And but he still got a ring.
Yeah, I guess he gets a ring. He was there for part of the season.
Crazy trivia question. Does Nomar Garcia-Parra have a ring? What a trivia question.
Yeah, I guess it's because if you look at his baseball reference, it doesn't say World Series champion.
But if you
I
know
guess
better,
technically he has a ring, so it's almost like a trick question. Wow. He wasn't on the World Series roster for sure.
Holy shit!
That is crazy to get traded mid-season in the year that they win their first championship.
He was on them like as a lifer, as their one of their leaders, the Manny, as one of their best hitters.
Yeah, and then he switched over to first base at the end of his career and still had some decent years with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I remember.
He went to an all-star team with them.
That was weird. I don't know how I remember that.
I mean, it's not that crazy. Like,
was he on the team with Matt Kemp? Was that the Matt Kemp team?
I don't know if it was that late. Nah, probably not. He retired in 2009. His last season with the Dodgers was 2008.
Okay.
So I don't think Matt Kemp was quite around yet.
Who is the worst friend to tell a secret to? Jeremy Leibowitz, shout out.
Yeah, I just told him something he's told. But to be fair, I didn't say like this is a secret. But
Do you want to
also
change your
just
answer?
this is no. Because my take is that I don't know. I feel like there's a thing about like having your story to tell. You know what I mean? Like
I see what you're
like,
saying.
you like even if I didn't say don't say this, like it's like why would you say this?
Yeah,
Like it's
out
not
of place for you to tell these people.
It's not your story to tell. You
should
know what
come
I
from
mean?
me.
So maybe
Yeah.
it's different than a secret where it's like, whatever you do, don't tell this to somebody. And he
It's like you telling a story about what happened with your mom and your dog at your house, and then Lebo goes and tells that story to Pacini and
like I said, it just goes without. I thought it was something that like went without saying. Like you don't break this news, and maybe
John,
he
not
didn't
everyone
know
knows
that.
these-
Like
John, not
he
everyone
maybe
knows
not
these
have
chords.
known that they didn't know yet or whatever. But like I don't know. It's just to me, it's just a your story to tell kind of thing.
not
More
everyone
so than
knows
a-
these
just-
chords, John. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah. What's something your dog has made you better at? You said being more diligent and like being on a schedule a little bit more. a little
Yeah,
bit
just more like just helped with like sticking to a disciplined routine, I think was the exact words. But and also I guess just like waking up, like having a good wake up earlier, start my day earlier.
That's true. And vibes, just general vibes.
Oh yeah. I mean my dog just makes my whole life better in general, obviously.
Yeah, just makes me a better. I said better at, but I would just take out the at. Just makes me a better person.
Yeah. There you go.
Mark Sanchez, Eli Manning, Vinny Testaverde, Daniel Jones. Rank them. You said Eli and then Vinny and Mark together. I think I got Vinny ahead of Mark.
He threw so many fucking interceptions.
I know. He was so cool though. Him with
You
Burnett.
could read him like through the screen, like watching football.
I
You
know
could
that a lot.
like read his eyes.
Curtis Martin though.
And Mark Sanchez wasn't very good either. But I like young Mark Sanchez could win you some big games, make some gutsy plays. Like I don't know, he was. I like the young Mark Sanchez.
And then there's Daniel Jones. Who's the laziest NBA player? And you said Julius Randle. And we've
Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel bad about this one because like I don't know. I guess I watched more Knicks games when he was there than most teams. You know what I mean? I see them a lot. My friends talk about them a lot. You know,
Joel Embiid is also another name that comes to mind.
Yeah, I guess in terms of just like sitting out, but when he's out there, he gives his fucking all. And you know,
USA
like
was fucking.
you know, he fucking even the
Carry
Sixers. He fucking takes the whole team on his fucking back most nights. You know, so it's
He's
hard
out
to
there.
say him. But
Yeah.
Randall, I just feel like we see him like struggling up and down the court, off-ball defense, you know, things like that.
Sleeping.
So
James Harden's another name that came to mind.
yeah, James Harden defensively is super lazy. James Harden, quick shout out. He's
Killing it.
balling.
He's number 2
He is-
all time now in 3-pointers. Is that real?
Yeah, I mean, well, we talked about that before. That like these
All
stats.
these stats are fucked. And same with the NFL. The passing stats, everything's fucked up.
Yeah, no. Well, I hear you. I mean, but James Harden this year, just looking at his numbers, like just in terms of the whole NBA, I'll bring him up real quick. Like he's fucking balling out right now.
Amazing.
Like fucking playing great, and like the Clippers are the
They're a good
only team saving the fucking NBA from OKC getting more loaded, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think OKC has the Clippers pick. But yeah, but just James Harden just going for
Clippers are in first in their division right now. They're kind of a cool roster. Terrence Mann's hurt right now, and I like him as a player. I think he's a good player, but like, yeah.
But James Harden casually 22, 6, and 8. You know,
yeah,
like 22, 6, and 8 is fucking a great line.
yeah. But you want to look at something egregious? Go look at his field goal percentage. I'm pretty sure it's low. Something bad.
Right now, it's 39%. But
Yeah.
that's what we talk about with like, it's really not that like. I always go back to like look at Kobe Bryant's like field goal percentage in his career. A lot of times it's like 42%, 43%, 44%.
Still, like, in this day
Like-
and age, in this day with no defense and the amount of possessions, 22 points for a guy like
But
Harden.
if you're
on
shooting like
39%,
mostly three, but if you're shooting like how many 3-point attempts is he putting up a game? Like 3-pointers a game. He's shooting.
how's he getting to this 22 though, John? He's shooting 40% from the field, getting there. That's fucking abysmal.
Well, if he's hitting threes at a good clip, it's Let's
If your
look at.
percentage is at 40%, you better be Kobe and average 30.
All right.
You can
Well,
average 22.
my point is, he's putting up 16 shots a game and scoring 22 a game. That's more than a point an attempt. Like, that's not inefficient.
No, he's just a 6 for 14 guy.
'Cause-
He's done it 10
But
times.
he gets to the free throw line a ton.
Yeah, 10 of 12 the other night, 10 of 10, 12 of 14. Yeah, 8 of 10. He does.
That's what he's a free throw assassin.
Yeah, he
So,
lives there. And he's a
you
good
know,
passer.
he's
a
not
six-
in a-
and he's a
not-
great passer.
Like I said, if you're getting 1.3 points per shot attempt, that's not inefficient.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
But then
we'll try-
again, maybe you have to count in all the free throws that he gets. Like, those fouls, are we counting those as shot attempts?
now. When he
Yeah,
goes
we'll
through the
see.
lane,
But either way, you're getting
Foul margin.
22, 6, and 8.
He's a
At
foul
an
margin.
advanced age, that's pretty fucking good.
yeah, it's just like 13% difference between him and Shy's averaging more.
Well,
points.
but that more speaks to SGA than it speaks to Harden. Like, I think,
39% from the field is bad.
but Harden, I bet you is closer to, like, let's say you take the top 30 NBA scorers.
Harden's closer to the median, 42, 43, than what the fuck SGA is.
53 is like a center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if we get into guards. Like,
Yeah.
53%
Out of
for a
dunk
guard is crazy.
Crazy. So shout
Yeah,
to SGA.
shout out to SGA. All right, man.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up for this week. Throw 26. We'll be here for the rest of the year, as you all know. I'll have my trivia ready for John on the next pod. Some out of sports and trivia, crazy shit. We'll see what he knows, see what he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm always, if there's any Sixers want to have a fucking random Sporkle challenge, fucking anything, I'm always with it. I'll put up general knowledge of things. It doesn't mean I'm smart. I just know a lot of things. I have a lot of information
a
stored.
lot of random info flying around the brain.
I could like compete in anything, geography, history, sports, music, movies. I feel like I'm above average in everything. Like, if you're a specialist, you could probably beat me in some stuff. But if we went like band for band in every category,
Kinda like
I feel
that.
like I'd rise to the top in most.
Yeah, I'm pretty good in a lot of stuff. I would say similar thing. There's some stuff that I don't know anything. I would be the first one to tell you, but
Like, I was looking up, or not looking up. I went to the gym today. There's always like a random trivia question every day at the gym when you walk in and like sign
was
in. And
today's
today was like, it was, what does photosynthesis produce?
plants.
Plants use photosynthesis to produce something.
Oh, it was plant. Okay, I'm not a horticulturalist, bro.
I mean, at least you know what like that word means. That's pretty smart, I guess. I'm not. I didn't even look this up, but I'm pretty sure.
horticulturist? Yeah.
No. I'm saying I didn't even look up.
What photosynthesis is? Yeah, I know.
The answer, but I think I know it, but I haven't looked it up. So I'll just shoot in the dark right now. I think it's chlorophyll.
What do they produce? It says photosynthesis.
Chlorophyll, which is like
Chlorophyll?
what plants use as for like nutrients.
That sounds right.
I mean, I'll be in the gym tomorrow. I could figure out for sure, but I'll just look it up real quick.
What does photosynthesis produce?
Glucose and oxygen. And what the fuck is chlorophyll?
And that's the show.
Hang on. I'm standing on this. Chlorophyll is the name of the green pigment that plants use to make food during a process called photosynthesis. I'm standing on chlorophyll. That's the right answer.
Sounds right. The way you
Look,
just
it's
described it.
chlorophyll is the name of the green pigment that plants use to make food during a process called photosynthesis. I mean,
that sounds like the answer then.
the official answer will be what it says in the gym. So I can go to the gym and make sure I'm
When
right.
you win, what do you get? A free shake?
I don't know. I don't like. It's just fucking. You win knowing that you're decently intelligent. I
person.
guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
little brain activity. Okay, fair enough. Well, anyway, Sixers, Dreamers, Hothead. It's been a pleasure. Happy New Year, and we're back 2025. And yeah, keep it locked. And
All right.
all the contestants this weekend at football, and hopefully Joe Burrow gets into the playoffs so we can see him rock someone's world.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Peace.
Peace.